Hello everyone and welcome to another lesson with me, Anna English, here on English Like a Native. If you're coming and joining me from Instagram, then you'll know that today I feel like death warmed up. And if you're not joining me from Instagram, the phrase death warmed up is a slang term to mean I feel very unwell. But I did promise that I would be here every Friday with a live lesson, and no matter how I'm feeling, I always want to try and keep that promise because you're all so wonderful in supporting me in whichever ways you can, and so I want to make sure that I'm delivering for you. Jacob is also a little bit under the weather, so again, he won't be joining us today. He's with his childminder, having some food now in the front room, but it is lovely to be here. Hello, Utman, how are you? And who else have I got? I've got, lots of you, so many of you saying hi. Where in the world are you and what's the weather like? That's what I want to know. It's cold here in the UK, but luckily today we have blue skies. Now, as always, on a Friday, we are going to take an article from the BBC today. I'm a big fan of BBC, and so we're taking a BBC article. We're going to learn some new vocabulary. We're going to read the article together, so it'll be good for your English listening, as well as working on some pronunciation as well. All right, so if there's any words that you particularly want to hear pronounced in a British English accent, then hold it in your mind and save it to the very end of the lesson, and I'll give you a chance to ask me to pronounce it for you. All right? Brilliant. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about for this lesson is just to clarify a very simple rule that you probably all know, but in case you don't, it's the rule of nouns. So you have proper nouns and common nouns. A common noun is a word for a thing. So a common noun would be a phone, or scissors, or a jam jar with pennies. These are all common nouns, names of things. And then we have proper nouns, and as I'm sure you know, proper nouns are names or titles of things like people, places, and companies. So a proper noun example would be Anna English. Or a company like Apple is a proper noun, or Microsoft is a proper noun. And English Like a Native is a proper noun because it's a name of a channel. So the reason I'm bringing this up is just so that it's easy for you when reading news articles, because we have a lot of proper nouns used in news articles, but sometimes it's hard to spot. The trick is to look for capitalization, because proper nouns are always going to start with a capital letter. Common nouns will only start with a capital letter. There's a typo, sorry. If they begin a sentence. So if a noun is at the beginning of a sentence, obviously we always start a sentence with a capital letter. But otherwise, a common noun, so like phone, scissors, jam jar, will never start with a capital. But Anna English, English Like a Native, Apple, Microsoft, all of these proper nouns will always start with a capital letter. Now, the article that we're going to look at today has lots of proper nouns within it. And they are difficult to spot, but if we look out for those capitalized words, then we'll know they are proper nouns, and they are the names of groups or companies. So it makes it a little bit easier to understand the context of the entire article. I'm saying hello here now to lots of people in the Skype room for VIPs and patrons. Hello, Francesca. You're in Malta and it's 17 degrees. Now, we don't say we have when we talk about temperature. You might say we have beautiful weather. We have blue skies, but when we talk about temperature, you'd say it is 17 degrees here. It's getting colder. Yes, it is. And I love Christmas time, but I don't like the cold, dark days. It makes me feel quite sad. Hi, Andreas. Hi, Nurog. I'm sure I don't pronounce your name correctly. I do apologize. And Alexander, I can see you're typing as well. So hello to you. All right, so let's jump straight back into the article. Now I'm going to be introducing you to some new vocabulary taken from the article, which we're going to read soon. So let me bring this up on screen for you. Right, so firstly we have the word commuter. A commuter, this is a noun. A commuter is a person who travels to work. So at the moment I'm not working as such, but when I am working, I work from home. So I don't commute. I'm not a commuter because I don't travel for work. I work from home. But if you have to leave your house to go to work, then you, at that point, when you're traveling, become a commuter. So I'm sure in the morning you're a commuter, and on the way home you are a commuter. So you might say, in the morning there were lots of commuters trying to get to work. The train was full of commuters. Okay? Are you a commuter, or are you lucky enough to work from home? And if you do work from home, do you enjoy working from home, or do you wish that you could leave the house? Some people say that working from home gives you cabin fever, which is another phrase, and it means that being in the same place drives you crazy, that you need to get out and breathe some fresh air, have a change of scenery. So if you work from home, do you get cabin fever? Okay, so the next word, or phrase rather, on the list is a price freeze. Now the word freeze obviously means very, very cold. If you freeze food, then you basically turn it to ice. It goes below zero in terms of temperature, and it freezes. But when we talk about a price freeze, we're talking about stopping a price from moving. So we keep an item or a service at the same price. So freeze here means to stop. And I can use this in this context quite a lot. So I can actually just tell you to freeze, and I mean don't move. So freeze can mean stop. So when I say a price freeze, it means a price stop. The price doesn't move up or down. So if I'm a teacher, and if I'm charging, let's say, £1,000 for my course, I don't. It's much cheaper than that. But if I charge £1,000 for my course, and every year I put it up in price a little bit more, one year I might say, this year there's a price freeze. I'm not going to raise the price of my course this year. There's a price freeze. Okay. All right. Abdullahi, that's an interesting name. I've not seen that one before. Abdullahi, you said, I'm a commuter for sure. Excellent. So you travel to and from work. And you've also said to freeze a bank account. Yes, you can also freeze accounts, which means you stop anything from going in or out of it. You stop the activities around that account. Let's see what my patrons are saying with these new bits of vocabulary. Hello, Alexander. Hello, Anna. When is the next phrasal verb lesson? The weather is -10 in Kiev. Ooh, that sounds very cold. Next phrasal verb lesson. I found that people were getting bored of the phrasal verb lessons, as in the live lessons that I was doing, so I kind of abandoned them. But if you're really keen to continue, then maybe that's what we do when we do our private patron and VIP lessons, which I'm going to be talking about a little later on. It's always such a pleasure to hear you speak English. Thank you so much. That's a very nice thing to say. It's 8 degrees here in northern Germany. That's not too bad. I must visit Germany. I haven't visited Germany much. When I'm working, I commute to the next bigger city. I commute to... that's a bit odd to say to the next bigger city. I'd say I commute to a bigger city, which is next to my city, perhaps. Francesca, I'm not a commuter. I work from home like you. I miss the break with colleagues. Small talk. Small talk is never plural. So talk in itself, in this respect, basically it is plural, small talk. So you don't need to put an S on the end, all right? So you miss the break with colleagues, small talk, and coffee with other people. Yes, I completely understand. I guess in the USSR, price freezes were very common. Good. All right, let's have a look at the rest of the vocabulary. So here we go. The next one is the word annual. I've talked about this word before, but if you don't know what it is, it means yearly. So, for example, Christmas is an annual festival. Every year we have annual festivities around Christmas. So we celebrate Christmas annually. You might have an annual review at work. So every year you might sit down with your boss and discuss your performance and how you feel and whether you're going to get a bonus or a promotion. So an annual review, a yearly review. It happens every year. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a look what you're saying here in the chat room. I asked you whether commuter means getting out of home in general or traveling to another country. To commute means to travel to work. It's specific for going to and coming back from work. If your work takes you to another country on a regular basis, then you'd say I'm commuting to work. But if it's just getting out of the house, no, that's different. Good afternoon, everyone. Crames says, I'm watching the advert for you to make some money for you. Bless you. Thank you so much. Anna, you have a WhatsApp group. Please join me. You say, please add me is the sentence. And my WhatsApp group is now closed, I'm afraid. But I do have the VIP group and the patron group, which is what you see on Skype. And these are very generous supporters of the channel. They support financially, which allows me to pay for my babysitter so that I can do things like this with you today. Hassan says, I pay my rent annually. So you pay your rent yearly. Wow, that must be a big spend to have to pay it yearly, but very good use of the word. Let's move on. So the next one is the phrase according to. You'll see this a lot. According to her, according to them, according to Anna English, and it means as stated by. So if you state a fact, so I might say, the world is round according to my geography teacher. So my geography teacher told me the world is round. Proper nouns start with a capital letter according to Anna English. So as stated by Anna is as Anna said. All right, so according to means said by or as stated by. Then we have on the list, we have the word timetable. You might have come across this before. A timetable is similar to schedule and it's just a plan of times of events. Now, normally when you're going to travel by a train or by bus, coach, then they will have a timetable to say when the trains are leaving and arriving at different destinations. So a train timetable or a bus timetable. So it's the same as schedule, but often used when we're talking about commuting. You will use timetable instead of schedule. And talking about travelling, the word punctual means to be on time. Now, are you a punctual person? I hope that you are. It means that you arrive on time for things. Do you arrive early for work? Do you arrive on time for your interviews? I hope so. So are you a punctual person? I am a punctual person. I get very stressed if I think I'm going to be late for anything. So I tend to be early rather than late because I would much rather be early than late. So the Brazilian Way Show says, how's your baby? Well, like I said at the beginning of the lesson, Jacob has been a little bit under the weather. So he's been a bit sick, a bit like me. I'm not feeling so great today. And I'm just going to show you a little picture of him now. This is him yesterday morning. Bless him, in his pyjamas, not feeling very well. So he's having a cuddle with me, trying to help me to feel better as well. Okay, and yes, if you are on Instagram and you're interested in Jacob and you want to follow his growth and progress, then head over to Jacob's Little Adventure and you can follow him there. Okay, let's move on to the next word on the list. So, a key part or a key component. If something is key, it means it's very important. It's very important, vital almost, you could say. It's vital. So the article is a key part of this lesson. So the article I'm going to read is a very important part of this lesson. Without the article, I wouldn't have the vocabulary and I would have nothing to talk about. Students turning up for my live broadcast are a key part of my lesson. If you weren't here to watch, then there's no point. So you are a key part of this broadcast. Okay? So something is key, then it is vital, very, very important. Okay, someone is asking, Hamza's asking, how can I be a VIP student? If you want to be a VIP, then you do that via YouTube. There is a link below in the description box to join the VIP group. You get access to the notes and things that I do in all the lessons, as well as additional notes, and you get to join the Skype group. And it's the same for patrons, although patrons can donate in different levels and get different rewards for that. And so if you're interested in supporting this community in a financial way, whether large or small, then I will try and reward you in whatever way I can, and you can join the groups, and everything is listed down below so you can go and check those out. And I just want to say a huge thank you to those people who do support me. It really now is the difference between me coming live and putting out videos and not. So without you, I couldn't do this, so thank you. All right, what are you saying? You're saying, Nurok says, I used to have an average 45-minute commute to work. Oh, that's a long commute. But I moved recently and now I live 5 minutes driving from work. You'd say I live a 5-minute drive. So you'd use an article and say, I live a 5-minute drive from, and then work or whatever. I live a 5-minute drive from work. Far better. Yes, I agree. Fantastic. Isn't it a sphere? Yes, but we say the earth is round. So a sphere is round. Okay? But and the common phrase is to say the earth is round. In the old days, they used to say the earth is flat. And now we say the earth is round, or the world is round. But yes, it's a sphere. You are correct. Okay, so I was talking just a moment ago about VIPs and patrons. And I'm just letting you know now, the announcement, the decision I made today is that once a month, I will be doing a private broadcast just for VIPs and patrons so that you guys can have my undivided attention. And it's just my way of giving that extra bit back to you. So once a month, I will arrange a live session, very similar to what we're doing now, but only for VIPs and patrons. So my way of saying thank you. Okay, let's carry on. So we're nearly at the end of this list. We've got the word compensation. If you don't know what this means, it means something that's awarded. It's usually money that's given as a result of a loss or suffering or an injury. So for example, if I'm visiting the Microsoft office, if I'm visiting the Microsoft offices and I fall over a broken floor tile and it's something they should have fixed, but I fall over it and I break my leg because I've had an injury, and due to that injury I lost a lot of money because I couldn't work anymore for a few months. They will probably have to give me some compensation. So they'll have to pay to cover my losses and as a way of apologizing for my injury. So compensation. Then we have the phrase out of touch. Now, a person can be out of touch, a company can be out of touch, and if someone is out of touch, it means they're not up to date with knowledge or information. For example, you might say that an old person who can't use the internet, who doesn't know how to use their phone properly, you could say they're a bit out of touch. Or if I haven't been very active on the internet in recent times, if I haven't been up to date with things like WhatsApp or changes on YouTube, I could say I'm a bit out of date at the moment. I'm a bit out of touch. I don't know how to do this stuff. I don't know how to use this new technology, this new software. And in fact, I probably am a little bit out of touch with some of the new technology. It's all moving so fast. Okay, so right, so Muslim is saying, hi Anna, what's the difference between map of New Zealand and map of New Zealand with capitals? So there you've used a capital for map, which is fine because a map is a common noun, but there it begins the sentence. And we remember the rule, a common noun will have a capital letter only if it begins a sentence. So map, there, capital letter is fine. New Zealand is the name of a country, and because it's a name, it makes it a proper noun. Therefore, it should always be capitalized. Okay? So it should be capital letters for map, New and Zealand. All right? Okay. So let's carry on. So we've got compensation, out of touch, and there's 4 more to go before we read the article. So let's rush through this now. So we have concerns. Concerns are basically worries. Are you concerned? Are you worried? Do you have any concerns? Do you have any worries? So it's just a more advanced word meaning worry. So concern. Do you have any concerns at the moment? I hope not. I hope that you're all quite relaxed and happy without any concerns. Then we have a kick in the teeth. A kick in the teeth. This is a common phrase meaning an insult or bad treatment. So, for example, let's imagine YouTube decide to delete all English channels. Every English channel going, they delete all of them. That would be bad. We would feel very upset. All of the English teachers on YouTube would feel very upset if all of our work had just been erased from YouTube. But then if they allow one person to have a channel, just one, but not me, that would be a kick in the teeth because they said no English channels are allowed. And by allowing one for no particular reason, they just allow one, that would be an insult. That would be added insult. So that would be a kick in the teeth for me. Okay? The way I remember it is imagine that you've knocked someone to the ground, and rather than saying sorry or walking away, you go back and you kick them in the face, in the teeth. It's an added insult to something bad. Okay? And then we have the phrase rip-off. A rip-off is a fraud or something that's grossly overpriced. So, for example, if I charge you £50 for an ice cream, it's a very, very hot day and you are desperate for an ice cream, and on that one day I put my prices up from £2 for an ice cream to £50 for an ice cream, you'd say, no way, that's a rip-off. Yep, yeah, it's a rip-off. So something that's grossly overpriced. Okay, and then we have the very last one on the list, and it is privatized. You'll read this a lot in news articles. Some companies are public companies and some are private companies. A privatized company is a company owned by a private company instead of the government. So our railways, which used to be government owned, are now privatized. So they're owned by different companies like Virgin Rail, for example. Virgin Rail own some of our railway lines and offer services at different prices. And so it's privatized. Okay, so let me just have a quick look at how you're using these phrases. So a kick in the teeth says keras, a humiliating disappointment or setback, yes. Losing my job after my car broke down was a real kick in the teeth. I can imagine it was an excellent sentence. Well done. What else do we have? Is kick in the teeth the same as kick in the face? Yes, I guess so, but we never say kick in the face. A kick in the teeth is the phrase. It is the saying that we use. Lots of new people here. Hello if you're new. If you are new and you're an English learner, then please be sure to click subscribe and the bell notification button so that you're notified when I release a new video or when I'm live, because with my little tiny baby boy, it's impossible for me to be accurate with planning lessons. So you just have to go with the flow. You just have to go with me. And if you have your notifications turned on, then you are less likely to miss a lesson. My friend is always out of touch. I'm fed up with him, says Adnan. Adnan. Am I saying that right? Adnan. Yes, really great sentence. And you should get your friend into touch. Any more? Lots of newbies. Hello, newbies. I clicked the link down below to become a VIP member, but a message appeared that this content is not available for purchase. Ibrahim, I believe that YouTube only have the VIP service available in certain countries. So it might be that you're in one of the countries that it hasn't yet been rolled out to. If that's the case, you can try the Patreon site and see if that works for you. You will get some of the same benefits, and you'll certainly be, baby brain, you'll be added to the live private broadcast if you're a patron as well. So you can have a look at that instead. Okay, so we're coming to pronunciations in a minute. I'm just going to read the article first. Okay, so let's get on to it. Rail fares to rise by 3.1% in January. Millions of... Oh, can you see this all right? I hope so. Millions of commuters will have to pay an average of 3.1% more for rail tickets from the 2nd of January. Now, I want to just point this out. You see here it's written to January. To January. But we never say it like that. We would never say the date like that. It might be written that way, but we'd say the 2nd of January. Okay, so we'd say this. The 2nd of January. Even though it isn't written that way in the newspaper. So that's something to bear in mind, because that's something that I notice with a lot of students. They make that mistake. Okay. The rise, announced by industry body the Rail Delivery Group, follows a year of disruption on some lines. Notice there is a proper noun. That's the group, a company name. There has been calls for a price freeze following the chaos caused by the introduction of new timetables in May. And there's a proper noun. It's the name of a month. The rise, which is lower than the 3.4% average rise for fares in 2018, means another £100 for a Manchester to Liverpool annual season ticket. Remember, annual means yearly. Anthony Smith, chief executive of independent watchdog Transport Focus, said the rail industry got £10 billion a year from passengers who wanted a reliable railway offering better value for money. Fewer than half, 45%, of passengers are satisfied with the value for money of train tickets, according to Transport Focus. See, Transport Focus is obviously some sort of group or company because they are capitalised words, which means they are proper nouns. It's a name of a group. Alex Heyman of consumer group Which, that's another company because it has a capital letter, said the new price rises would only add to passengers' misery after a year of timetable chaos, with rail punctuality falling to its lowest level in 12 years. Value for money needs to be a key part of the upcoming government review. Let me just lift this up for you. And passengers must receive automatic compensation for delays and cancellations, he said. Shadow Transport Secretary Andy MacDonald said the increase showed a government and rail industry out of touch with passenger concerns. While RMT Union General Secretary Mick Cash called it another kick in the teeth for passengers on Britain's rip-off privatised railways. Oh, gosh. So that was a little bit of a, maybe you might say boring, but difficult article, I would say, because there's lots of complex sentences in there, and I'm hoping that the reminder of proper nouns having capital letters helped out a little bit. Oh, bless. Leonard, thank you so much for your super chat that you just dropped, a £1 super chat. Thank you. Don't forget, if you're dropping super chats, you can put a highlighted comment so that I definitely see your comment. But thank you for that donation. That's very kind of you. Okay, so for example, here, let's have a look at some of these sentences. So this one. While RMT Union General Secretary Mike Cash. Now they haven't made this very easy for you. So you've got RMT, which is a company, RMT company, and that's the union, and then this is his job title. So the General Secretary of the RMT Union, and his name is Mike Cash. Does that make sense? RMT Union General Secretary Mike Cash called it, and that's what he said. Whew, that's a tough one. Was there something else I highlighted here? Yes, okay, so you got Alex Heyman here. Alex Heyman of Consumer Group. So a consumer group is a group of customers, and the company is called Which. This company is called Which. And we usually say of if we're doing it in this order. So you might say Anna English of English Like a Native. Or you might say, let's say Joe Blogs of Microsoft Computers. You use the preposition of when doing it in this order. If you have the name of the person who works for the company, the preposition of, and then the name of the company. So Anna English of English Like a Native. Or you might say Anna of Anna's Big Adventure. Or if you're talking about my baby, you might say Jacob of Anna's Big Adventure. So it just means that's where they belong to. Okay. La 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 la. Okay, Tung K, hello. He says, I'm not a subscriber. Why not? Go on, just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. Just click the subscribe button and join the fun. But as a teacher of English, I'm curious how you manage a YouTube channel. That's why I'm here now, so I'm wishing you good luck. Thank you so much. If managing a YouTube channel, managing a successful YouTube channel is difficult, but it's not impossible. I have 4 YouTube channels. All of them are doing relatively well. It takes a lot of commitment and consistency and a lot of learning. I would encourage you to search YouTube for learning how to YouTube. There are lots of fantastic creators on here that help you to be better YouTubers. So if YouTube is your thing, then you should do what I've done, which is to spend hours and hours and hours of my own time learning through other YouTubers, watching other creators, following the YouTube gurus like Daryl Eves, Nick Nimmin, people like this who have a lot of information about how to be a successful YouTuber. Okay. Okay, so that is your article. Let's have a quick look back through the words that we've learned today. Privatised, rip-off, kick in the teeth, concerns, out of touch, hopefully you're not, compensation, a key part, punctual, timetable, according to, annual, price freeze, and commuter. Now do let me know now in the comments whether any of these words or phrases are new to you. It's good for me to know if I'm pitching this at the right level. Are all of them new to you? Please do let me know so I know whether this is right or not. So now is your opportunity, before I finish, now is your opportunity to ask me to pronounce any words or phrases that you're unsure of the pronunciation of while you're just writing those things down. I'm just going to jump straight back into my patron Skype room. Hello, you're saying thank you. You're welcome, Francesca. A 5-minute drive. Thank you, Anna. You're welcome. Okay, that was quick and easy. And don't forget that my lovely baby Jacob needs your following. So if you are on Instagram, then you can join me for pronunciation practice, British English Pro, or you can join Jacob at Jacob's Little Adventure. Okay, so what are you guys saying? Could you pronounce jewelry? Jewelry. 2 syllables, jewelry. Okay, I'm not wearing any jewelry at the moment. Oh, I am. I'm wearing a ring. Have a ring on. Anna, is this a regular session? Is this does it have a fixed time? Every Friday afternoon I will try to do a live lesson for you, but it's not a fixed time because unfortunately I have a tiny baby who doesn't live by a schedule, so I have to just look after him, and so I can't guarantee what time, but it'll normally be between 2 and 4. Okay. Are you a Londoner? I live in London, but I'm not a Londoner. I'm from the north of England, from near to Manchester. Okay, I got a word yesterday, the cause, the cause, what created. No, how do we describe the word cause? Cause. Sometimes it's very difficult to think of a definition. Okay, the cause, a person or a thing that gives rise to an action, phenomenon, or condition. So the cause, the reason is another way to think of it, the reason for something. What is the cause of your illness, Anna? So we have this long or vowel in the middle. Danielle, could you pronounce event? Event. I'm going to an event. Okay. Could you pronounce... Oh, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that word. I am dyslexic, so some words completely throw me. Let's have a look at this word that you've asked for. No, I'm not sure. Sorry about that one. Okay, so that was Jawad. I'm not sure about that word, to be honest. Could you pronounce purchase? Purchase. Imagine it's an is at the end rather than ace. So it's not purchase, it's purchase. Okay. Marilu says, could you pronounce kernel, column, and convalescence? Convalesce? I'm not familiar with that word either. Let me have a quick look at that one. Convalesce. Okay. What else do we have? Vacuum. How do you pronounce another word of vacuum beginning with H? Hoover. So a vacuum is what you use to clean the floors. But there is a big brand called Hoover. And most people in the UK now use the word Hoover to talk about a vacuum, even if it's a Hoover vacuum or not, if that makes sense. How do you pronounce enthusiastic? Enthusiastic. What else do we have? Directly and often. Some people can say often with a T. It's quite old-fashioned, but no one's going to judge you for saying often or often. It's totally your choice. Okay. The word opposite. Make sure that's an S and not a Z. Opposite. Can you speak in the Cockney accent for 5 seconds? No, I would just embarrass myself. I do have a Cockney video on this channel though. Actually, there's 2 Cockney videos here. The Cockney accent, the London accent, and then I've also got Cockney rhyming slang. So if you want to hear an example of Cockney, go and check out those videos on my video tab. Do I have any tips for improving your vocabulary? just regular immersion. There are videos on how to remember lots of vocabulary, so you can have a look through those, but just repetition is the most important thing. Could you pronounce gumption? Gumption, that's a great word, gumption. I have trouble pronouncing the J at the beginning of words like job and just. J. So put the tongue tip onto the roof of the mouth like you're going to say D, like dad, D, D. And then you push more of the tongue onto the roof of the mouth, so more of the tongue touching, more like the middle of the tongue rather than the tip of the tongue. J, J, J. So it's close to a D, but it's a bit more thickness of the tongue touching the roof of the mouth to release. J, J. Job and just. Okay? And is it different to words like ginger and giant? J. No, it's the same sound. They may have different letters, but it's the same sound. Job, just, ginger, giant. Okay, so that was a really good question. Thank you. What is Emma Watson's accent? She speaks with an RP, a very good RP accent. She's a great actress to listen to. How do you pronounce though? Anything with a TH, tongue between the teeth. Though. Hello, I'm new here. Hi, Krista. Hi, thanks for joining us. An American friend of mine pronounced the H. Oh, I don't know what that's related to. I'm sorry. Is it okay to pronounce schedule as schedule with a K? Yes, that's American English. But that's absolutely fine. In the UK, natives often confuse schedule and schedule. And if you ask a native British person how you pronounce that word, they wouldn't know whether it was schedule or schedule. They're probably, because we have a huge American influence here. But schedule is American, and that's absolutely fine to use it here too. How do you say descriptively? Descriptively. And that's little baby English at the back. Getting his nappy changed. Or if you're American, getting his diaper changed. Oh, is he dressed?
He's taking his trousers off.
Okay. Yeah, say hello to baby English. Hello, Jacob. How are you feeling? Hello, darling. Hi. You say hello to everyone. How are you feeling, baby? Oh, he's been a little under the weather, haven't you, sweetie pops? But he's growing up so fast, I'm sure. Those of you who don't follow him on Instagram will see how much he's changing. He can hold his head up now, and he talks a little bit now as well. I mean, he doesn't say any words, but he does this sound, which is quite cute. And he giggles a little bit as well. Oh, and he's just been sick. Lovely. This is what he does to Mummy all the time. The joys of motherhood. All right, now, if I can give him to you to go and change him. Bye, Jacob.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. He does it about 4 or 5 times a day. Okay, so yes, he is cute. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said earlier, if you want to follow him on Instagram, his Instagram handle is Jacob's Little Adventure. I'll just put that up for you. Yes, he's gorgeous. And hopefully he'll start feeling better towards the end of this week. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up now. I'm going to go and change my top so I don't smell like baby sick all day. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you're finding these sessions helpful. Please always give me your feedback because I'm only here to serve you. So if you're finding these helpful or if you find them boring, please don't hesitate to just let me know what works, what doesn't work. Thanks again to my VIPs and to my patrons. I will be letting you know via the community tab for VIPs and via the patron post wall about those private lessons that I'll be introducing from next month. The notes will be in your Dropboxes, VIPs and patrons. So these notes from today will be there in the next 5 minutes. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you guys on Instagram, hopefully. Okay. Bye for now, guys.